And we're live. Yo, you know what it is, man. This is the check-in. This is the check-in. I had to take a deep breath because this is the check-in. And tonight we got some shit we're going to get through. We're going to get through it, though. We're going to work some shit out, and we're going to get through some shit. For those of you watching right now on Facebook, understand and know something. This is probably the last time you're going to see this show on Facebook. I'm telling you right now. Okay. And if you want to be heard in the comments, you're going to have to go over to youtube.com/@unwrap because I will not be reading any comments unless Jizzle would be so kind enough to read them. I'm not going to. And the reason is we want to get the people over to the YouTube channel. But I'm not going to. Today, I'm just letting everybody know that we ain't forgot about you. So if you needed to hear this, you probably needed to hear this. That's why I'm doing it live right now on Facebook. But know that next week, this show also will only be seen on YouTube. But tonight, I'm not going to do anybody like that because somebody might need to hear this. And you know what? Come to think of it, I might not stop streaming this to Facebook because this show is different. This show is not about anything. It's not about the bag. It's not about none of that. This show is different. So shout out to that. So fuck that. We'll just keep this one on Facebook as well. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
This is the check-in. I am your host, Heat Detector.
It's your boy Jizzle.
And we got somebody else in the building tonight. Hasn't been on here for a minute.
Yo, man. It's Killer Cam from Woo to Boop. How's everyone doing?
Okay. And as always, we got OT in the building. Live and direct from Germany.
Guten Abend. We say good evening in German.
Come on.
How are you guys out there?
Don't do that. We good.
It's cool.
Scheiße.
Guten Abend, brothers.
Scheiße.
Jawohl. That's what I'm a fan. Good to see you. Welcome to the check-in.
Likewise, brother. Before we get started, Jizzle, you already know the drill. Go ahead.
You guys already know, man, that the check-in is a podcast. It's for informational purposes. It should not be considered legal. We're not responsible for anything that y'all might do. None of that by listening to this podcast. This is not intended to replace professional medical advice. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the host and the show, man. So please, we're not licensed therapists, licensed psychologists. It's just a couple of homies sitting here, man, talking about real life things and real life topics and situations that we all grow from. And so the only way to grow sometimes is to listen to your peers and listen to the things they're going through and some of the advice they give. And you take that and you build your own perspective out of it. But don't sue us. Don't fucking play with us, in the words of Naj Vino.
Yeah. And I'm going to put my 2 cents in as well, like I always do. If you got cotton candy ass ears and you dream of bunny rabbits and motherfucking unicorns, this show is not for you. If you are not thick-skinned, if you wear your emotions on your sleeve, this show may not be for you because the truths are going to be very hard and the facts are going to be as real as we possibly know. And the things are going to be said that you may not agree with, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree, or we can argue about it. We can do whatever, but it's still going to be said. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to sit here and listen to it. You can go somewhere else with that shit because we're going to keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
You know? So today, I think, is a very important thing we need to talk about. But before we go, I want y'all to see this hoodie that I got, right? It says, have hope. It's okay to not be okay. And shout out for Hope, Hope for the Day. We may end up working with them. Shout out to them for throwing in the hoodie. And I said I would wear it on the show, and there it is. They deal with mental health and mental health crisis, suicide, all of that. So look them up, hopefortheday.com or .org, I'm sorry. Check them out. They have a lot. They're a wealth of resources, so check them out. And shout out to Hope for the Day. My thoughts are that we will be working with them soon. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to them, man. That's right. Yeah. It's okay not to be okay. I like that. Yeah. I like that. That's their slogan. Yeah. Because sometimes we think it's not okay to not be okay, right?
Well, we think whatever we think. We could be we could be thinking that that it's not okay. Or it's okay to, the shirt says it's okay to not be okay. Like, we think that there's a stigma around not being okay. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody said they had mental health issues back in the day, the thought would be like you're developmentally disabled, or you had some kind of you were in the slow class, or you wore the helmet or whatever in the hell. But we know now that that's not the case.
Yeah,
we know now that mental health is extremely important, and mental health, it could be a motherfucker's downfall, it could be a motherfucker's grace.
And there's so many ways nowadays that you don't have to be in that position, man. We did it on the last show and the last few shows because it's been deep topics that we're going into. So if you're somebody that needs help, if you need somebody just to talk to, man, just somebody to listen to, there's a few ways to do it. There's a website, there's a chat, and you can call. But the number is 988. It's just 3 numbers. 988. You ain't got to talk to us. You could call or you could text that number and begin a chat to speak with somebody, man, so you don't feel alone, so you're not grieving alone, so you're not in a state of, wanting to be forgiven and you feel alone, which is the topic today, forgiveness. So 988, call that number, man, look it up. It might not be something you need. It could be something that you might could benefit from. So make sure y'all do that.
Big facts. And as we always say, we here. You know what I mean? So even if you can or you don't want to make that phone call, and just try to wait and hang on and till Sunday, because we're gonna be here, and you can either chat it up with us and talk to us about it, or you can just listen. You know what I mean? Shout out to E. Johnson again, the loyal of the loyalist. Shout out to him, man.
Let's talk. You told them that the topic is forgiveness, right?
Yeah, topic is forgiveness.
I like to start off the shows with a definition. We don't always do it because some of it's just plain and simple. But what is the full meaning of forgiveness? I'm reading from GreaterGod.Berkeley. So forgiveness, psychologists generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance towards a person or group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness. And following that, and we'll talk about that, like the meaning of forgiveness to you. But should I forgive? Because you're listening and you're probably thinking, well, do I have to forgive? And I had this convo with somebody earlier about that when you do something to somebody, or when a situation happens, a bad situation where you might have been in the wrong, once there comes a time where that person realizes, oh shit, I did wrong, and their first response is to say, you need to forgive me now, because now I realize that I did wrong, I've accepted it, now it's your turn, forgive me. And I was telling that person that forgiveness doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like when you're ready to realize what you did wrong and now you come and you want forgiveness. It doesn't work that way. It works in the person that was hurt. And the question that I looked up was, should I forgive? So Mayo Clinic said that the act or hurt of being offended might always be with you, but working on forgiveness can lessen that act's grip on you. It can help free you from the control of the person who harmed you. Sometimes forgiveness might even lead to feelings of understanding, empathy, and compassion for the one that hurt you. So yeah, it's important to forgive for multiple reasons, like it says, because you'll be able to forgive for saying, all right, I'm going to lessen what you did on me and forgive so I can be okay. But also the other part of it is maybe understanding why that person was not okay. What were they doing, or where were they in their life that led them to, to maybe accidentally hurt you? Maybe not accidentally. Sometimes it's on purpose. But what led them to hurt you? And maybe you could understand it a little bit, and that builds the step of the process, right? Yeah. Forgiving, trusting again, which takes a long time. So,
I think if I could be so bold as to say, I think that forgiving yourself first is the ultimate key. Because in order to forgive yourself...
Oh, forgiving yourself.
Yeah, man. You have
for
to.
For the act that you did?
Yes. And for the act that other people did to you, and understanding that it's not your fault. So, like, maybe if you reacted or you did something, and you got to forgive yourself and understand that a lot of that shit is because of how shit has happened to you. And you got to forgive yourself for your wrongdoings anyways. If you really want to be held accountable for something, I feel like you got to forgive yourself. And that's just my opinion, right? You got to forgive yourself. In order for me to forgive you, just let's say Jizzle steps on my brand new Jordans, right? And then tells me fuck you, we get into a fight, you know, and whatever the outcome is of the fight. I got to forgive myself, to me, for interacting with you that way instead of talking to you as a man. I got to forgive myself for even putting
You mean
hands on
forgive yourself or tell yourself you messed up? Like acknowledge.
Acknowledge that you fucked up, but you got to forgive yourself, man, because a lot of times when we're going through shit, this is what we talked about before. When we're going through shit, we start being hard on ourselves about shit and start feeling guilty and start feeling remorse and all these things. And those things lead to a lot of other shit. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself as the 20-year-old, the 19-year-old. Forgive yourself first and really mean it. Then seek that forgiveness from somebody else, because then you'll be able to understand, I think, in that whole forgiveness process, if that makes any sense. It makes a lot of sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I need to go grab my coffee, but, brew on that for a second.
I feel exactly what you're saying, though, about that, because, people also say, I know this is about forgiveness, but people also say you can't love anyone unless you love yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't be there for somebody unless you're, you are there for yourself first. You know what I'm saying? So, that does make sense on why you would forgive yourself first before you forgive someone else. You know what I mean? So I can see why he would say that. And then at the same time too, I think it's hard to forgive yourself, right? I think it's harder to forgive yourself for something than it is to forgive someone else.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like
real talk, right?
I like for instance, like if you were like in a relationship, right, and the girl that you were in a relationship with was like the girl of your dreams. She happened to be like the girl of your dreams, and then like you fucked up, like you're gonna eat that and wear that for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like me being in that position, like I've been in that position before where, I had a good friend or whatever, and something happened in between us, and I'm like, fuck, man, like, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just ruined that whole situation. I could have done something different, you know what I mean? And it was hard for me. And then in the end, when I forgave myself for the situation and reevaluated the situation, I was able to move on from it and able to have better relationships with the few friends that I do have now, so.
Forgiveness is not
Facts.
like I wanted to, and that's real shit, Cam.
Real
I think
talk.
for some people thinking forgiveness, and I'm reading this also for myself, because I think that you feel like if you forgive somebody for doing something, you are like downgrading like what they did. So what I looked up right here, it says forgiveness is not making an excuse for someone. Forgiveness is not a downgrade. Forgiveness does not reclassify an offense from sin to mistake, because mistakes are excused. So yeah, man, it's not forgiving someone. Like I said, yeah, you might feel like, damn, I'm a punk, like I let it go, or like whatever the situation. But yeah, it's not making an excuse. So, just for someone that's out there saying, man, well, no, I ain't gonna forgive that. I'm not gonna forgive that, because if I forgive that, I lose. If I forgive that, I lost in this situation because they got over on me, and here I am like a dumbass still here. You know what I'm saying? But I think also forgiveness plays a big part of forgiveness, in my opinion, has to do with like who we are talking about. Because if we're just talking about like some dude that or some girl we just know on Facebook or something like that, and they do some really bogus shit to you, you might just never forgive that, block them out of your life and take them out. But if we're talking about like somebody that you love, someone that you're invested in, have been invested in for so long, or whatever the case is, forgiveness is on a different level there, right? Because you're forgiving to, I don't know, some things aren't forgivable, but still, I think when you're talking about someone that you love, it's a different level of forgiveness. You have to compromise. You might to make things better, to continue the relationship. Sometimes maybe our relationships are bigger than that mistake. You know what I mean? Like people have people that cheat on them, and in their opinion, their love and their relationship with this person and what they built is way bigger than the small mistake that they made. So, I guess there's forgiveness on different levels. What's up, D-Nick? How you doing, bro?
D-Nick, what's cracking?
What
I'm
up?
blessed.
What
I'm
up?
blessed, everybody. I'm blessed.
Hey, we gotta
I'm
get y'all.
blessed,
We gotta get
man.
you to move over, D, because we can only see like the brim of your hat. There
There you go.
Yeah, same with you, OT.
There you go.
We just got. You must
I
be an
got.
angel.
I'm fighting this light behind me.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
fighting
thought
this
that
light.
was your angel light or something.
You know, I think it's harder to. I think it's
Yes,
harder
sir.
to forgive someone that you love though, and that you like put trust in, and like gave like all your all to. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Because like right now, like this is the reason why I wanted to check in, man. I'm going through that myself. Like, for you guys that don't know, my mom passed away about 2 years ago.
Condolences.
And,
Condolences, brother.
Thank you, I appreciate it, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my pops and my little bro had a conversation today, and like I never really realized like how my mom was like the glue to our family. Like she was like the person that kept like everyone together until she passed. And like my mom hadn't been dead for like more than like 24 hours, and people were started like asking for her shit. You know what I'm saying? Trying to pardon her shit, trying to take her shit, and you know what I'm saying, and figure out how to do things with her stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like that shit hurt. You know what I mean? And these are people that like I grew up with my whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? Been around, you know what I'm saying, raised me, you know what I'm saying, took me to my games, you know what I'm saying? Like people that were like
Close to you.
And like to this day, like I don't even go over there and really chill with them anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't associate myself with them anymore because I'm still trying to understand it. My pops is telling me like, some people grieve differently and some people, handle things differently and do things differently. But to me, like that was just it's fucked up. Like that's your whole sister, you know what I'm saying? That's your whole daughter, you know what I'm saying? That's your mom. You know what I'm saying? And you guys are just already trying to bargain her shit away, So that to me is like, that's why I say like, I feel like when you love someone and you care about someone like that on that level that you were talking about just now, it's harder to forgive those people because it's like they know you. You know what I'm saying? They know you in and out. They know exactly what ticks you off. They know exactly what hurts you. They know exactly what makes you happy. Like these are people that raised you. They're close to you for a reason. Like you put them in the circle,
In a circle
for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Can
just
I ask you
like,
something, brother?
what's up, man?
Do you think that it's harder to forgive people you love of what they because of what they've done, or do you think it's harder to forgive them because they did not achieve your expectation of them because you love them?
That's a good question, and I never. That's a good ass question. I never really thought about it that way, but
It's just like
yeah, I've never really thought about it that way for real. I don't really think it's kind of my expectation. More so of like me just being let down a lot.
but that's part of
That's
That's
that
an
comes with
Is it part of the
expectation.
expectation?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
part of the
Okay.
expectation.
yeah,
Like you said, they should know you because you let them in that circle. They should understand, certain things is off limits, or think about what you say. It's harder when you, like I said, somebody that you love, that you hold on that level, and they do something like he said earlier. You do something effed up to me, and then you say, well, damn, I expect more of you. If you're a friend, I expect more, and that's why forgiveness has to start from yourself. That okay, I'm gonna give you a pass on it. That's that thing. Because if not, like forgiveness is for you. It's not for them anyway. It's for you, so you can move on, so you can mature, so you can grow, so you can reconnect. And then it's like that grief thing we talk about. It takes time to get through that.
yeah. And people change. You know what I mean? They may have been grieving in their own way, and part of
Right.
that grieving might have been, well, get the shit out of here because I don't want to look at it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've been in that kind of situation before, and they didn't even really know what they was doing at the time. And,
Right.
You know, and we hold value to some things, and some people don't hold value to them. You know what I mean? I don't
Real
know.
talk.
And some people just want a piece of that person.
Right.
They
Person.
might-
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been through it, you know, and I think, you know, people, we say that, like we say people grieve in different ways, but we don't really know how we don't really talk about the many different ways in which people grieve. Also, we may not, like, you know, you just lost, you know, your mom, so you didn't even have the emotional bandwidth to deal with them
Do it.
grieving in that way at that time. That's why funerals are always like a mess in a lot of situations. You know, there's always more times than not you hear about people fighting, you hear about all of that type of stuff because everybody's grieving, everybody's at their lowest point,
Right.
at the lowest point, and everybody's experiencing their lowest point together. So, you know, it's a process, but man, you know, for yourself, I would probably suggest shoot them some grace, you know, just a little bit of grace, and you know, and they'll show and prove they deserve a little bit more grace, you know.
Right. Forgiveness is a motherfucker though, man. And I mean, like, I feel like forgiveness is also too, and I know I keep saying this accountability shit, but it is about taking accountability and holding somebody accountable to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because we all know the old adage, you know, I can forgive, but I can't forget. Of course, you can forgive. Doesn't mean you're gonna forget about it. You know what I mean? Shit happens to everybody. You're not gonna forget that shit, but you can forgive. You can. Everybody's capable of forgiveness. There's not one person that's incapable of forgiveness. They can say it all they want that they're incapable of, or they don't want to forgive. And if they don't want to forgive, that's on them. Then
People
they-
forgive for different reasons.
No,
you
I'm
know
just
what
saying though. I'm saying though, if a person doesn't want to forgive you, there's shit you can do about that.
No.
I mean, that's on them. But then they got to live with the shit because if I'm cool
Yeah.
and I've forgiven myself for what the fuck I've done, and I've forgiven
Your part in it.
yeah, my part and their part and every goddamn thing else that I could possibly do. I've already done everything that I could possibly do. The only thing I could do from that point is push forward.
Yeah, you got
That's
to.
it.
We had an episode where, you know, and if y'all watched it, but like I had a guest on the show, who was the musical guest for the Shy City Cypher podcast to open up, and me and him had some things in the past, and you know, after a while, man, I just noticed that it was like, you know, he reached out, he was sincere about what he was saying, about how he felt like he did me wrong in the situation, and you know what? I just, for my own reasons, I just said, man, life's too short, man, and this is, you know, essentially was always a good dude, and I forgave him for that, man, and he ended up on the show, and you know what I'm saying, and he performed, and it wasn't like I didn't need that. Like, I mean, we loved the performances, but I could have had somebody else perform. Like, it was just more like on my part to like kind of mend that relationship and be like, all right, man, like we had some shit in the past. It went wrong. You did me wrong, but
You dirty.
dude, I'm letting that shit go because I see like the greater scope of things. At least on my end, I saw the greater scope of things which was just, you know, and you know, benefiting from us working together. And at the same time, I also said to myself, holding that anger is crazy because, like, what if something happened to that dude and I had to see that something happened to him on Facebook? How would I feel about that? I probably would feel like shit. I should have just talked to that dude because that shit is just so little. You know, I think we put the life and death context into a lot of the things that we talk about because it's kind of like, I use it a lot of the times where I say to myself, man, if this person was no longer here, would I really just still be upset about this little shit that we were arguing about? Whether it be like a relationship, a girlfriend, or one of your homies that you ain't talked to because he said some shit about your sister, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, am I really that mad? And if I say to myself, yes, I'm really that mad, I don't give a fuck if I never see, you know what I mean? Then don't forgive. That's on you. But I got to live with that shit. I got to hold on to that shit. And I don't want to hold on to that shit, man. I'd rather let that shit go and see what comes of a better situation. And, you know, me and dude, we message sometimes, and you know we'll work in the future again, bro. And I feel like cool, man. I wanted to let go of everything. When I moved into like 2022, 2021, I said to myself, bro, I don't want to have no situations in my life, musically, artistically, personally, where I'm fucking mad at people. I don't want to be mad at nobody no more, and I'm gonna fix them situations. And believe it or not, I did, man. All the little, the 1, 2, 3 things that I had that was wrong, I fixed all that shit. And I don't live with that shit no more. And I can go anywhere and see anybody and fucking shake hands and give hugs. And cousins of mine that I didn't talk to, we fixed it. Shit, whatever, bro. Life's too short. Life is
Well,
too short.
You said something though, Gizzo, that I don't want to be brushed over. You know, you said he atoned, and there was something I haven't heard in talking about the forgiveness piece. No one mentioned atonement. You know, atonement for the wrong. It's easier to forgive if someone can atone. You can't take it back.
Right.
You know, unless you got some superpowers that I don't know about. Nobody can go back in time and take it back. But you know, it makes it a lot more challenging when you don't atone for. Oh my goodness, it's funny. I got to do this Monday. I got to run these scenarios and counseling tomorrow about this type of
About
thing.
the
God,
subject.
you fuckers always making me work when I got the day off.
Shout out to that.
But yeah, like
We appreciate it.
it's a thing. It's a total thing. You know, like that's a part of it. You know, like, and it makes it easier to forgive, and you know, it just really makes it. Doesn't mean you have to. And even when we talk about forgiveness, like, what does that even mean? If we talk about forgiveness, we're talking about the person that you would want forgiveness from and yourself.
Right.
People are like, you know, like trying to clean their soul because maybe the forgiveness is eating them up.
Right.
Yeah.
If you never atone for it, that's the thing where people don't want to forgive. They don't want to forgive. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to forgive you, and now you can go around and not let it eat you up no more. Fuck you. Let that shit eat you up like it's eating me up because you're wrong. You know, you got to shoot them some grace too. It's a thing. You know,
Atonement is definitely a thing.
Atonement is a very if you're seeking forgiveness, I'll say that. If you're seeking forgiveness, atonement is a very important part of that forgiveness.
D, before you go any further in that, explain, because you know we got people out there that don't understand certain words, don't understand what the shit means. Can you just explain to people what atonement means?
Atonement
That's
is
what
a
I was
$5
gonna
word.
say. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, for some people it's a $30 word, but you know.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Oh man, god damn it.
Get that book out. Get that brain open.
Right.
Open it up, man.
No, I gotta shrink them down, I guess. I thought atonement was atonement is shorter than accountability. But so part of it is the taking accountability, like totally taking accountability, not deflecting any of that. And you know, a part of atonement more times than not is restitution. You know, it's like whether it's a form of reparations, which is repairing what you have done wrong, you know, or if it's something that was just done non-tangible, totally emotional, then you know it's just taking full accountability or taking full blame. I guess if is that small enough? That's
good.
Merriam-Webster says atonement is reparation for an offense or injury.
I
Satisfaction.
thought reparations was too big. Because
you know, motherfuckers, they'll take reparations and be like, why are they talking about race and then the government and shit? So we just
I know. Don't nobody want black people to get there, so I wanted to stay away from reparations. Because I know how much y'all hate niggas. So I gotta
And you know what? And you know what, D too? Like you said, like how atonement, something that you said was like atonement is a real thing. even when you watch those, because I'm a dude that watches a lot of like real TV, like stuff like that, and when you watch these sentencing cases, they give the killer a couple minutes to speak before his sentencing. And sometimes these guys are resentful, and whether the family accepts it or not, because they probably don't, right, of the victim, but they have that time to atone there and speak and forgive it and ask for forgiveness or show that they regret what they did. And some of those guys, they atone and they say, I should have never did this, you know, whatever. But there's other guys that's like, yo, what up, man? We'll be home soon, man. You know, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. They don't give a shit. And that, you know, sometimes that sways the judge on what he's going to sentence them, or if you showed that you were some kind of remorseful for what you did.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think, like I said earlier, man, I don't know if you were listening, D, or not, but like for me, a big part of it is forgiving myself. I have to, because when I think about a lot of shit, and even shit that I'm going through now and still working on every day, part of it is forgiving myself, because a lot of times in a lot of that shit, I'm still wallowing in this guilt and wallowing in this shit of like, fuck, this is all my fault. I fucked everything all up. I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. And I've got to forgive myself so I can stop beating myself the fuck up over this shit and be able to move forward with it. You know what I mean? And to really really do that. You know, I think that's a hard thing to do for a lot of people, is to really look within yourself and say, you know what? All right, I'm truly going to forgive myself for this shit. And then in the hopes of all of that, you know what I mean, move forward, move better, and then in the hopes that the person that I did these injustices to will in turn see this and forgive me, you know, or we can atone the shit, you know what I mean?
Well, atone is second. You gotta
Right.
atone for those injustices that you've
Right.
done to the other person, so that
Right. That's what I meant. Yeah. And then hopefully get their their forgiveness, or at least be able to move forward with that person. Because also too, even with all of that, even forgiving yourself, that's a process. It's a process to forgive yourself and really trust, because that means you got to go down this motherfucking checklist of what you've done, how you feel,
What they done, right?
all of this shit, this checklist of shit, and that's a big pill to swallow. It is a lot of times. I know for me it was a big pill. It still is. You know what I'm saying? But in order for me to get that grace and hope that these people in my life give me that grace, I feel it's a must for me to do that. And it helps me every day to not get in these certain modes where I feel like, all right, look, I've already forgiven myself, damn it, or I forgave you, why aren't you forgiving me? You know what I mean? Like, hey man, that shit don't work at my pace. That shit don't work like I want it to work. That, you know what I mean? And
Well, that's because you're dealing with human beings anyway, and so it's part of that. And we say forgiveness is actually a maturity thing, I believe, that once you mature, but it can happen at different levels too. Like you said, if you're dealing with a relationship where they did something yesterday, damn, that was effed up shit you pulled on me. But if you put it on a scale and it's worth the relationship and worth doing it, that's why when you said earlier, I forgive you for me. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe you might not say it that way, but that's what it is.
I've said it that way. I've said
I
it every
forgive you
which way
because
to
it's
lose.
important.
You know what I'm saying? The thing about it is with all of this shit, a lot of times it motherfuckers don't want to believe that you actually really forgiving or I don't know that you really that you really are taking
Sincere.
Yeah, being sincere about your shit, or you know, man. Look,
We got another guest in the
somebody up
building.
here, so it's gonna take me a second to get everything right.
Hey, introduce yourself, man. We can't see your name on the screen. Introduce yourself real quick.
Whoever they are, they're just watching in the dark, I guess. We're gonna get them on the screen in a second and add them in. But I don't know why. I'm having trouble with this shit, man. I'm adding and subtracting and doing all this extra shit. Let me get yeah, we're in there we go. Now I need to get this person in there. And maybe they don't want to be seen. We can still hear you though. Can you hear us? Just give us a nod or we can't see the nods, but if you can say something. Or maybe they just want to listen. I don't know. Well, let's just go back to where we was at, I guess. And I mean, they can speak if they want to speak. If they don't have to. There's D. Let's get OT in there. Boom.
All right,
And whoever they were, they hung up.
Hey, is anybody else getting feedback? I'm getting feedback here.
Nah.
Okay, it must be me. I'm not waiting.
Well, there they are again. The name is Moke. I don't know. What's up, Moke? How you feeling? Huh? I don't know. Well, I can check. But anyways, keep the conversation going while I check this shit. Anyways.
Yeah, man. For those that's tuning in right now, the topic for today, if y'all don't know, man, y'all watching the check-in. We've been going strong for probably over a year, man. It used to be Sunday sit down with the OGs. Now it turned into the check-in because we just started checking in with each other, man. The people you see on the screen right now, that's D-Nick on the left. That's the homie OT on the right, man, and they're, homies, friends of the show, man, and we're just talking about it. But the topic is forgiveness. So if y'all listening, man, if y'all got some thoughts or feelings or concerns about it, go ahead and put it in the comments on YouTube. We'll read y'all comments. But yeah, man, we're talking about forgiveness.
Go ahead, keep going, man.
Yeah.
Let me work on this right quick.
Okay, bet. Yeah, we're talking about forgiveness, and I think we talked about the side of being forgiven. I think we talked about like the you fucked up side. But what about the other side of like how it feels for you to have to forgive? I read something earlier saying that forgiveness is not a downgrade. Forgiveness is not you turning a sin into just a mistake which could be forgiven. It's not a downgrade. So you're not stepping down, forgiving somebody. It's just doing what you have to do to either have a better mental state for yourself and be able to not be. I read something that said not be victimized, not be a victim in the victim realm anymore. You get yourself out of that, and we hear a lot of that with and we to get a little bit deeper, like when we've heard about rape victims, and how I've heard some of them say that they had to in their mind, forgive that situation, as crazy as that sounds, like so that they wouldn't have to be in the victim realm anymore. And I think that same thing sticks to a lot, like even like kids growing up like in a violent home and getting older and having to forgive that so that they don't carry on those like same traditions, like breaking bad, what is it called, like breaking generational curses and things like that, right? Like, so yeah, man, I think that forgiving and building all that. And for anybody that's listening, we apologize. We're having a couple of technical difficulties with the audio. We're gonna be right back normal in a second. But if y'all can still hear us, man, make sure to tune in. If you're on Facebook, go to YouTube. If you're on Facebook, go to the YouTube. But yeah, man, we got OT in the building. What do you think about that, bro? From the side of being the person that from the side of the person that is trying to forgive for their own self. Like, you've been in that situation, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir. Like you said, it's part of that accepting that I want to get better. Like we talked about earlier. Now, if you want to wallow in that self pity, in that man, that's still effed up. You did me that way, or she said that, he said that, and you constantly keep reliving that. It's like taking a scab and pulling it off, so that wound will never heal. And like we talked about before, we said it just recently. He said it earlier. It's about getting better and moving on. So, and in order to do that, we take inventory. How many times you heard me this, that. Okay, now I want to move on. I want to grow. I want to be better, do better, and then you make those steps. And again, as we say, that forgiveness starts with us, so I can be forgiven. And if not, even if they don't forgive you, then you move on. you know. But you make that inventory because it's important to you. Now you've justified it because I want this relationship to work. I want to be with you. And we talk about it when you're at funerals where people didn't do that. And then now they're mad because I can't get that forgiveness. I can't say I'm sorry. So now you bottled that. Now you got that going on. So now you've created another issue instead of dealing with the stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah, we got Mook in the building. Is it Moke? Moke? You there?
Well,
Moke? Is that how you pronounce it? But yeah, I hear everything, man. Like I'm over here like tripping because you know we having this little sound issue and shit.
right.
And I know our mics right now are sounding real shitty. But we're working on it right now, anyways. But we just keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Is it Moke or Mook? I don't know. It looks like his shit is frozen. I mean, you know, we're live, so anything could freaking happen. You know what I mean? So we'll deal with it. You know, but. The forgiveness thing, man, is just dead serious, man. Like, I take everything, all of it serious. Anyways, let me try this real quick. Maybe that'll ease up the fucking pain. I just switch something else over. We'll see what happens in a second. But to me, I'm learning this, all of this forgiveness stuff right now. I'm learning it to forgive myself. I'm learning to forgive other people. I'm learning all of this because, you know, I wasn't a very forgiving person before. I'm doing my best to be forgiving now. I'm doing my best to forgive myself for my own dumbass actions. I mean, it's a lot to it, but it is what it is. You know, I got to keep it pushing either way, man. I got to live this, and I got to strive to be better, for lack of better shit. You know what I mean? For lack of better words. Tonight, I don't think I have any $5 words right now. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it to the $1 word. That makes life easy
tonight,
for us.
Tonight, I'm a
Keep it
$1
simple.
word ass motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Keep it simple.
But I'm just keeping it G. Again, for lack of better words. You know what I'm saying? But that's like right now. That's really the only thing there's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? But I for real, like I don't think. That I say this to motherfuckers that like you're not individually special, you know what I'm saying? That something's happening to you, you know, because there's shit happening to people every day. This is not just inclusive to you, you know what I mean? I'm not the first person that's been in a relationship fucking bullshit and fucked up shit or whatever. I'm not the first person to be a father trying to figure out fatherhood. I'm not the first person that, you know what I mean, that fucks shit up. You know what I mean? I'm not, you know, but that's not giving myself an excuse. It's just saying I'm not, this is not inclusive. Like,
To me,
this
real
house,
talk.
this house or somebody else's house or whatever the fuck, that shit is not, it may be inclusive to them as far as how they deal with it and whatever, but man, this is life, man. This is everyday shit. People go through shit like this every day. You know? I don't know. Call me crazy.
And like you mentioned, taking the first step, and we keep saying that, taking the first step of forgiving yourself. Okay, I feel it's already a thing that you're in your emotions. So I feel like I'm gonna forgive you so I can move on. And that's where the forgiveness thing starts. I'm sure D can explain it more, but it's just if you forgive for you is a good place to start, so you can move on. And I had a grandmother. I always promised to give her flowers while she was here. So that's kind of one of those things. So if you want to forgive somebody, if it's important to you, forgive them so they can move on, so you can move on, and we keep gaining ground on this thing called life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, also too, forgiveness, you can forgive, and I'm going through this now, personally. It's okay to forgive and cut people clean the fuck off.
Yep. Amen. Say it.
Like, it's okay to totally disengage, like closure, and see, this is semantics, but this is it's actual factual. So it is not my responsibility to give you closure because
Right.
you wronged
Because
me.
me, right.
Yeah, I don't owe you closure. So
That's
I
important.
forgive you for me, but I don't have to give you closure. I don't have to give you closure. I don't have to. I shouldn't. It's not healthy to keep that dark stuff on your heart. That's why
Right.
people who've been victimized, have to learn to forgive their victims. I mean their assailants or whatever. And you also gotta. It's a weird type of thing because a lot of people like, oh, you wronged me, so I got forgiveness from that person, so I'm good. And that's why it's hard for some people because you didn't atone, you didn't make any restitution, you didn't make any penance or anything. So some people feel like, no, you're supposed to suffer and I would just say you can forgive, but you don't owe nobody no closure.
That's
You
right.
know,
Yes, sir. That's
you don't
on
owe
them.
nobody
Right.
no closure. But you owe yourself to forgive them because it's not healthy to have that dark stuff on your heart. You know.
Right. I agree. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I mean, and my expectations for forgiveness have really changed over the last, I don't even know, man, months. And that doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot because I'm also changing my thought process and how I take things in and how I see things, how I interpret them, and so it's a struggle, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't put the expectation that a person needs to forgive me or has to forgive me, but because maybe there are points in my life that I've done shit and they don't want to, and if they want me to suffer for it, then I've come to grips with a lot of shit, so I'm not gonna suffer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna hold on to it. I'm also not gonna hold that person for not forgiving. I'm not gonna hold them. I'm not gonna hold it against them. I'm not gonna do anything because that's something that they got to live with, not me. You know what I'm saying? And that shit to a lot of people may sound selfish and may sound fucked up. But if I've already done my piece and have given my piece to it, and I ask for your grace. You don't choose not to give it to me. I mean, then it is what it is. I mean, I don't know what else I can do. I don't control the past. I can't. I have no superpowers. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also not going to hold the past hostage either. I'm not going to hold the past hostage. I'm not going to hold it hostage for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because it can't be fit. I can't go back and redo the shit. You know what I'm saying? I can only move forward and be better. You know what I mean? And do my best not to do that shit again. You know what I mean?
Real talk.
And restitution. And
It
restitution.
is.
You gotta give
Gotta pay for it.
reparation for your wrongdoing. You gotta take atonement.
And I mean, look, I take atonement every motherfucking day. Like
I like that
bullshit.
atonement.
You know what I mean? Like I ain't got no choice. I mean, I got a choice. I can say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I could literally say fuck it and not even care. But at the same time, why would I do that? Because if I do that, then I may as well just put myself back to square one.
That's that unhealthy loop where you get
Yeah.
into where just keep going that same tune, that every playing that same record, which holds you hostage.
Yeah. You look like you about ready. What? Somebody say something that's like not up to par.
No, everybody was good. Everything was good. I was thinking about it when he was like holding, like that thing. It's always tricky, man. Everything is like a weird balancing act with all of this shit, because depending on like the victimized can turn into like the accuser very easily.
Easily.
So everything is always, it's always a weird balancing act of like, okay, yes, you absolutely should and you know make restitution, but you also have to be mindful about living an apology.
Right.
You know, that's a tough thing. You know, it's also difficult. You know, like when someone wronged you, and sometimes you never get closure for that wrong. You know, you have to make peace. Man, it's I ain't gonna say his name, but it was a very loved and beloved like OG hip hop artist that had passed away, and that fucker robbed me for a couple hundred. You know,
Keep it real,
and
right?
you know, and I'm like, man, you know, he was doing the show in Chicago, and I was like, man, I should really get that back, like, or at least
I need that.
make him feel it for. But I'm like, I'm looking at him. He's mad fucking sickly. You know, I'm watching him, and I'm just like, you know what? Forget it.
Yep.
And he passed. He
Yep.
passed not long after that. And you know, I'm just watching all of the RIPs and all of that stuff, and it's like, yeah, it was tough because I was just like, man, like, you know, RIP, you know, rest in power, but damn, you got me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just got to take the loss. I had to take the loss. You know, I'll probably say who it was off air, but yeah,
I might know.
I was not happy about that. And it was just about the thing
Principle.
of, you know, what was agreed upon. And, you know, it was like, you know, just words were exchanged, and it's like, bro, like I get it, you sicker, but you know, but you made a commitment, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to do this,
Right.
you know, and it didn't end good. It didn't end good, and you know, but I don't want that on my heart, you know. I did want to. I ain't gonna front. I really wanted to, you know, fuck him up.
To
But
get back. Yeah. Right.
yeah,
right.
but that steak ain't worth the sizzle
Right.
because
Real tough.
he's a sickly beloved hip hop artist that vicked me, and ain't nobody in our hip hop scene gonna be like, why you fucking punch the dude in the face? Because we all a bunch of stargazing idiots anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like
so,
that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
like we all are a bunch of stargazing idiots. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I don't have the community. The community ain't gonna have my back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like I mean something to the community. I can't be like, you know, punching dude in the face. I just really felt really wrong. Like I was that guy to, you know, to get over. But I let it go. I ain't even.
There's that forgiveness thing. That's what we just
Yeah.
talked about. There's that forgiveness, and it's for you. It's not for him. You
Nope.
don't forgive him because he did you wrong. That's just what it is. And by right, he should have caught that. As we say in the pen out here in Cali, he should have caught that fade. You know, he had that coming. Yeah. I'm just saying. You should have caught that fade. If you short me, you know, if you owe me, you owe me. There ain't nothing else to say about it. You know.
Yeah. And it wasn't just he just ghosted me. We had a conversation about it, and he was very disrespectful. We'll say like, then he dies, and he's a beloved hip hop artist. He's a beloved MC. So, like I said, like everybody's a bunch of stargazing idiots. So what am I gonna do?
Right.
I can't make the community get smarter. I can't make them Even the ones that ain't stupid, I can't make them not stargaze. Everybody be stargazing, you know. So I gotta just eat the cost.
Right.
Right. Eating the cost, boy. Eating the cost of eating motherfuckers, boy. And I feel like I'm full of shit. Sorry, man. Because I ain't doing nothing but eating the cost around this bitch. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Unfortunately, we're going to cut this one short tonight because the audio right now is driving me nuts sitting here right now. And the want and the need for me to get up and start fucking with shit is really starting to be overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? But I want to thank all the brothers again for jumping in and getting through this with us. You know what I'm saying? And as we do always, you know the last words. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start that off with let's go with D this time. D. What's your thoughts and your last words on forgiveness or what we've been talking about?
Man, like always, everything is a process, you know. Forgiveness, it starts with you. It starts with you. You have to forgive yourself, and you have to. And part of your forgiving yourself, a lot of that comes with atonement.
Yes,
You know, you have to atone. You have to make restitution and reparations for anybody you wrong, or at least you should. You would think so,
Right.
especially if you seek their forgiveness. And also, you have to, in doing that, you have to give them grace. No one owes you they don't owe you any closure, and they don't owe you forgiveness on your time. They owe it on their time. However, that said, you still got to be careful that you don't live an apology. But, you know, a lot of that depends on the offense and how you wrong them. And, you know, so, you know, hopefully you can be honest and taking accountability and the judgment for yourself. D-Nick, the microphone misfit. That's me.
Yes, sir, man. Love you, brother. For real. OT, talk to him.
Hey, D said the best words. I can't even put too much on that. I'm gonna just say, like we talked about, forgiveness is for you. Do it for you, and then you're gonna be better for it. I promise you that.
Yeah.
I'm OT out here in Germany.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Cam. Last thoughts.
I don't really have like any advice for forgiveness because I'm still trying to go through that myself.
Grace, brother, grace.
But I do appreciate you brothers coming in here and shedding some light for me. Really helped me out in my situation. It really does mean a lot. That's why I love this show, man. So I'm gonna start tuning in a little bit more every week. You know what I'm saying? Because it does help. So this Killer Cam is from Whoopty Whoop.
Yeah. Jizzle, you already know what it is.
Yeah, man. Forgiveness is important, as we talked about, man. For both sides, hopefully, whatever side you're on, you can find yourself in the position to forgive or be atoning with what you did to be in the place to be forgiven. It's your boy Jizzle for Shizzle on Instagram, Shy City Cypher, IG, and Facebook. Peace out.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say it like I always say it, man. Tomorrow's another day. Before you put your foot on that ground, do better than you did yesterday.
Real talk.
Give yourself some grace too on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be too hard on yourself. It's gonna be all right. And those that do love you, God willing, they give you grace. You know what I'm saying? And if they choose not to, you still gotta push forward. You still gotta put your foot on the ground and be better than you were the day before. You know what I'm saying? Do your best, people. You know what I mean? Hey, I love you guys, man. Thank you so much. And I want to apologize to everybody about the audio. Also, too. You see the shirt, you see the hoodie. Have hope. It's okay to not be okay. And shout out to Hope for the Day. Looking forward to talking to you guys and see what we can collab with and do something. Thank you for the hoodie. And this has been the check-in, man. We'll be back Sunday, 8:30 like always. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be safe. Love. Peace.